side.
Patriot.
Reclaim America!
Reclaim America!
Reclaim America!
Reclaim America!
Civilian on the other side.
Patriot.
Reclaim America!
Reclaim.
Seriously, guys. Right after the Joe Biden speech, these are the fucking feds. This is foolishness at the highest order. This is nothing but the federal government creating something that isn't there, an Antifa-like patriot group. This is ridiculous, guys. For one, if true patriots came out and were angry, they would have fucking guns, all right? And they're not going to be marching, holding shields like a bunch of bitches. This is the fucking feds. This is what they're doing. They're trying to run the same scenario, Antifa-like, to trap patriots, to make them an extremist, and to put them in federal prison. What a fucking joke. We've seen these people before. Anyways, heads up, guys. Shit's getting interesting, but yet entertaining. I don't know what kind of shit they're pulling, but this is blatantly obvious. Peace and love, everybody.
Tonight, federal authorities are on alert after police in Idaho say they prevented a possible domestic terror attack over the weekend. 31 members of the white supremacist group Patriot Front were arrested on suspicion of plotting to violently disrupt a local LGBTQ pride event. CBS's Catherine Herridge has the new details.
This new video shows Idaho police swarming the U-Haul truck near a weekend pride celebration in the town of Coeur d'Alene. Jammed inside with heavy gear are alleged members of a white supremacist organization called the Patriot Front.
This was a riotous group that had prepared in advance to come downtown and disrupt either the Pride event or the Prayer in the Park event.
All wearing blue, khakis.
Those arrested wearing nearly identical clothing ranged in age from 20 to 40 and were from about a dozen states. No one was from Coeur d'Alene. Authorities recovered gear, including shields, shin guards, and a smoke grenade. A witness tipped off police after watching the group load into the U-Haul truck at a hotel and said they looked like a little army. There have been threatening calls against law enforcement ever since.
Offered death threats against myself and other members of the police department merely for doing our jobs.
Patriot Front is described by groups that monitor extremist ideology as promoting fascism and the creation of a white ethno-state. Among the 31 arrested on charges of conspiracy to riot and released on bond, Thomas Rousseau, the Patriot Front's alleged leader. The group was founded in 2017 after breaking away from a neo-Nazi organization that marched in the Charlottesville, Virginia Unite the Right rally. A group that tracks hate speech said this image shows Rousseau with a man who was later convicted on federal hate crime charges for driving his car into a crowd of protesters, killing one of them.
There are bad actors out there who want to leverage those moments and intimidate.
Given the weekend's massive arrests, two federal law enforcement officials tell CBS News they are reassessing the threats surrounding upcoming events like in Idaho. A lawyer for one of those arrested told us the defendants never had a chance to exercise their First Amendment rights, and the allegations are unproven. Nora.
News was there as protesters associated with the white supremacist group Patriot Front marched through the heart of Philadelphia. Counter-protesters confronted that particular group. Police did respond to the scene that you see right here. That march coming ahead of today's visit by First Lady Jill Biden, and security is heightened for the 4th of July. Action News reporter Becca Henderson is live on Independence Mall with an update on the commotion in the city of Philadelphia. Becca, what are you learning about this?
Greg, first of all, the First Lady is due to be here on Independence Mall within the next few hours. Eve of the First Lady's visit, police say none of the protesters were from Philadelphia Patriot Front. While carrying American flags and shields at Penn's Landing, several onlookers began yelling at the protesters and banging on trucks as the group loaded into the vehicles and drove off. Police say some of those angry onlookers actually a violent extremist exploiting the return of large gatherings. Now, while they remained non-violent last night, a group of white supremacists were here in Philadelphia. They marched through the city on the eve of the First Lady's visit. Police say none of the protesters were from Philadelphia. Patriot Front is based in Texas, and they traveled into the city. Action News was the only crew on scene as the group traveled down the Ben Franklin Parkway, across Market, Chestnut, and Walnut Streets before marching to Penn's Landing. Hundreds of mass protesters from Patriot Front chanted while carrying American flags and shields. At Penn's Landing, several onlookers began yelling at the protesters and banging on trucks as the group loaded into the vehicles and drove off. Police say some of those angry onlookers actually scared off the white supremacists.
They started engaging with citizens of Philadelphia who were none too happy about some of the things they were saying. Apparently these males felt threatened, and at one point somebody in their crowd threw a type of what we believe is a smoke bomb to cover their retreat, and they literally ran away from the people of Philadelphia.
Police later questioned the entire group of protesters after pulling their trucks over for safety reasons along Delaware Avenue. Now, police say no property was destroyed during this commotion last night. We are hoping to learn more about why these white supremacists were in Philadelphia. But again, this was on the eve of the First Lady's visit to the city.
No clue.
Everyone out here knows you're arresting feds. It's a big show for the media.
That's true. We do think that.
You get it? You guys get it? Absolutely. You put me in a restricted arrest for what? What, Tyrant?
So the guy
For speaking? For asking you a question?
I appreciate what they're doing. They're doing a great job.
What law is broken? Don't you think these guys have to break a law to be treated this way? Look, they're sitting on your knees.
Yeah.
Why would you be happy with him if he's just doing this for the peace meeting?
These guys are ruining my view.
No, enough of them are, and they probably won't have a few videos. And they all have brand new insignia. A big false flag sort of thing.
This is all a big show for the media.
We'll see what the news says.
They're trying to make this
And she's like, look at all these people that come and love me.
Nothing's happening. Everything's assumptions. No one's going to know. See the news.
I was like, here's the peanut butter with a cheese, here's the Chambord, equal parts, figure it
Right now, the narrative is going to be how women are. They got to change it to be white.
He's like, you out there with your I said to him,
trial run.
I won't be
bro. Shift.
California man. And the chief of police isn't any better.
That's what I just think too. Is that a drop in?
Yeah, I wonder if it's just a straight up. It might be a little thick. Yeah, just like.
Hey, buddy, you got to stay off the ground. Thank you.
Our office is right down the road. Yeah.
You know why they're on you? Sorry. Sorry about that. No, she's got about. Sorry. Oh, I probably shouldn't have just. No,
On the other side. From Patriot.
Reclaim America!
Reclaim America!
Reclaim America!
Reclaim America!
Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. There's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election. Democracy cannot survive when one side believes there are only two outcomes to an election. Either they win or they were cheated. They promote authoritarian leaders and they fan the flames of political violence that are a threat to our personal rights, to the pursuit of justice, to the rule of law, to the very soul of this country. And they see their MAGA failure to stop a peaceful transfer of power after the 2020 election as preparation for the 2022 and 2024 elections. History tells us that blind loyalty to a single leader and a willingness to engage in political violence is fatal to democracy. This is inflammatory. It's dangerous. It's against the rule of law. And we, the people, must say, this is not who we are. Courage that digs deep when we need it. They're entitled to be outrageous. This is a democracy.
Monica, President Biden is facing some fallout for his fiery speech from Thursday night where he laid into Mr. Trump and some of his supporters. What's the president saying now?
That's right. The president told reporters Friday he wanted to be clear that he doesn't consider any supporter of the former president's a, quote, threat to the country, while still defending his overall message from the speech.
I do think anyone who calls for the use of violence fails to contend with violence when it's used, refuses to acknowledge when an election has been won, insists upon changing the way in which the rules you count votes. That is a threat to democracy. Democracy.
The White House is responding to Republican critics of the address who called it divisive by arguing standing up for democracy, denouncing violence, and defending rights and freedom is not political.
Gave an important speech last night, a critical speech, and an added inflection point. And you know, our democracy, our values that our men and women who protect us every day and fight for it every day believe in as well. The presence of the Marines at the speech was intended to demonstrate the deep and abiding respect the president has for these service members, to these ideals and the unique role our independent military plays in defending our democracy, no matter which party is in power. Again, no matter which party is in power. And it is not abnormal, it is actually normal for presidents from either side of the aisle to give speeches in front of members of the military, and including President Ronald Reagan, President George H.W. Bush. It is not an unusual sight, or is not an unusual event.